Hey everybody! Today we are talking about Vera Wong's Unsolicited Advice for Murderers by Jessie Q. Sutanto. Vera Wong's Unsolicited Advice for Murderers is a very delightful, fun story about a older woman named Vera who has her own tea house, and it is not getting very good business lately, and she doesn't want to shut it down though. She loves tea. She's very passionate about how to blend the right kinds of leaves and flavors together to create a really just like storytelling kind of tea. You drink it and you immediately feel the progress of the tea as it goes down your throat, the changes that you feel, the comfort that it brings you, or whatever you might need at the time. She knows just how to brew the tea perfectly for what you need. She has all these expensive, unique kinds of ingredients for her teas, and that I think is very underappreciated if you're not a tea person. Like, I like tea, but I'm very, very particular about what teas I like. In general, I probably would not be considered a tea person because I don't drink enough varieties of it, and I don't have it enough for people that did grow up with that being what they drink all the time, every day, kind of a thing. Then you have a taste for it. You have a knack for knowing what teas are good and not. That is our main character, really just wanting to connect with her son a little bit more, who has moved out and is kind of distant, doesn't always respond to her texts. She always texts him every morning, like, "Are you awake?" She always wakes up really early, like 4:30 in the morning, so that she doesn't feel like her day is wasted. She always says things like, "Oh, youth today, always wasting their day, always sleeping so late." And so she has this really fun personality that's like serious but also fun, but also a little like at first that's just kind of what we see of her, but then she ends up having something happens to her. There is a dead body that she finds in her shop one day, and when she sees this dead body, she immediately thinks, "I'm gonna help the cops out." So she like draws in Sharpie a line around the body. She thinks that that's like gonna be super helpful because she's seen all of these like shows like CSI and just like all the different cop shows and stuff on TV, that she's like, "Oh, I know how to be a detective and stuff. This is what they're gonna do. They're gonna come in and they're gonna take DNA samples. They're gonna like test all, like take traces of if there's fingerprints and all this stuff." She finally calls the cops. They come in, and they're like, "Did you draw this line around the body?" And she's like, "Yes, I did not have tape, but I wanted to save you time." And they're just like, we don't really do that." She was just like, "You should watch CSI because that's what they do." And the cops are just like, "Oh my gosh." So when they left without like taking fingerprints, things, they just took a couple pictures, looked around, asked if there was anything wrong with the shop, like if it looked like anything was stolen, things like that. And then they like left, and she was like, "What? This is clearly a murder." And which they were like, "It doesn't look like there's any foul play here. We're not really seeing any signs of this being a murder." And she's very convinced that they are wrong and that no, this is a murder. And so she pays very special attention to the next couple of people that come to her shop that after this happens, because she knows, oh, because of all the shows she's watched, the murderer is going to come back. They always come back to their crime scene. They always come back to look at what happened afterwards. So every person that visits her the next couple of days, she is very blunt with them. Like, she's like, "Oh, who are you? Why are you here?" And they have their own stories of why they're here. And then she's like, "Okay, well, you are suspect number 1 or whatever." And they're like, "Wait, what? I'm a suspect for what?" "Well, for the murder, of course." And she's just very like straightforward with them, like, "Yes, you guys are my suspects." And she's like, "We should all get together and have a meeting so we can figure out who it is that did it," and stuff like that. And so it's just like very like off-putting, I guess you would say, for the people coming in, because it's just this stranger that is immediately accusing them of murder. And it's just kind of a funny way to start off a relationship. And as the story goes on, these characters become more friendly towards each other. Eventually, because we all get little tidbits of their thoughts each chapter is like in a different person's perspective. And so each time it gets to a new person, we learn that they are worried about something, that they are worried that the cops are going to connect them to this somehow. And so she, Vera, she eventually gets the truth out of a few of these people as to why they really did come and what their connection is to this dead body. And so we get to learn more about each character. We get to decide if we, as we're reading it, we can be kind of detectives along with Vera to see if she was right, to see if who really is the murderer, to think, oh, maybe she's wrong and the police are right. Maybe this really isn't a murder. Maybe it's not actually true at all. And the more you read, the more you start to believe in the cops' side, because everybody has a convenient reason or excuse that they weren't the killers. So as far as the ending goes, I really liked it. I thought I was gonna be disappointed if it went in a certain direction. I was getting a little worried that it might go into a direction I was not really wanting it to go, but no, it ended up having a couple twists in there, and like all good, murder mysteries, there's got to be twists, right? And I think that this one handled the whole idea really well. Having someone die in a tea house of all places that was run by like an old lady, and this old lady decides she's going to take it into her hands and she's going to become a detective and she's going to figure it out when nobody wants to take her seriously because she's just an old lady that likes tea. What could she know about murders and solving cases and stuff like that? So I just like that idea quite a lot. And we get a new perspective, because a lot of stories we read that are murder mysteries, it's like a middle-aged person or even like a younger person than that is the one trying to figure everything out. And it's just nice to read a different main character age group. I just thought it was really fun. All the characters were pretty likable, except for the ones that you were not supposed to like. They were like done really well to where you don't want to like them. A lot of things, just by them going in and meeting Vera, their lives changed so much, and just from knowing her. And it's just interesting how like she would have not known any of these people, and her life would be very different from how it ended if she hadn't met any of these people. And so it kind of makes you think like the phrase of like, oh, everything happens for a reason, or things are meant to be. It's just like, oh, she was meant to meet all these people. They were meant to meet her because in the long run, their relationship changed their lives essentially for the better, and in unexpected ways. So so I really enjoyed it. So if you would like to read Vera Wong's Unsolicited Advice for Murderers, go ahead, pick it up. Let me know if you liked it as much as I did. Just let me know how your thoughts are. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.